Each and every Friday, the team at Local Waste also presents a little something we like to call Trash Talk. All right, I need a little sip of Java before I get on my way here because you got me talking today. This is one where you're going to want the earmuffs. I'm talking like the whole segment. This is not designed for the 5-year-olds, my friends. Denise writes in and says, I would like to begin by talking about windshield wipers. Why are they designed in a way that makes it so complicated to figure out installation and replacement? Today, I cracked my windshield trying. Was she using like a crescent wrench? Denise, how did you crack it anyway? And she says, and by the way, while we're at it, would everybody please stop spitting on the stairs? She says, many of us are relying on the great outdoors and the beautiful river valley for exercise, fresh air. Would you mind hawking your loogies into the bush? Nobody wants to slide or slip on your bubbled up, slimy pile of germs. Denise signs off. Have a hell of a great long weekend. Real talkers. That from Denise. I love that one. This one from Susan, who says, based on your past conversations on Real Talk, I do not support taxpayers covering daycare. I believe a parent is the best caretaker of their child. I see babies being dropped off at daycare 6:30 in the morning, picked up at 5, probably spending less than 3 hours with a living parent. Nobody in daycare will love the child like his or her parent would. It takes planning to have a child, including saving up for a house, maybe renting until the child's in school so that one parent can raise the child instead of institutionalizing them is a better plan. People who live in big, expensive houses and drive new vehicles do not get my support. Sorry, not sorry. That from Susan. I'm sure everyone will agree with her and no one will be upset by what they just heard. Tyler says, well, there's been some really poignant points made by Mr. Jesperson. Well, thank you, Mr. Tyler. About the critique of the supposedly right and honorable Jason Kenney, Ryan made a very good point the other day about how challenging it is to be a leader during a pandemic. The people I'd like to mention, people in positions of authority, pastors, imams, school principals, doctors, business owners, foremen, teachers. The list is endless. All these people have worked so hard during the pandemic to keep the province going. They at least try to keep their shit together. Hey, Kenny, maybe you should too. Leadership is not just a nautical term for harbor masters everywhere, but actually making decisions for the good of the people. If you don't want to lead, kindly pass your magic 8-ball around, the one you use in caucus meetings that's guided your tire fire of government, and its wisdom will choose our next premier. Signed, a frustrated Tyler. What about this one from Denon? Denon says, I'm a licensed professional engineer, currently working also toward my part-time MBA studies at the University of Alberta. I take pride in contributing to the local economy and driving business growth and innovation. Given the recent post-secondary budget cuts, it's become apparent the university is trying to cover the loss of funds by driving up the cost of tuition for targeted professional programs. The tuition hikes are absolutely outrageous in scale and are not consistently applied across the board. They target some programs more than others. It's unfair and it's politically driven. He goes on to say the tuition hike is financially devastating for many of us. It'll drive people away from studying for their MBAs. Can you imagine having to sit back and absorb an extra $9,600 a year? I was almost in tears after I read this. MBA students are equipping themselves with the skills to become entrepreneurs and business leaders of tomorrow. We would otherwise use this money to start new businesses, to stimulate a decimated provincial economy. Instead, we will be forced to drown in student debt even longer. This is ridiculous. That from Denon. How about this one from Alana, who says kids are going back to school on Tuesday. When we study stats, it's pretty clear. When kids and teachers stay home, numbers fall rapidly. Is the government really trying to tell us that closing schools and seeing a drop in cases is unrelated? Now, I know that this government doesn't think too highly about the intelligence of Albertans. I'll refer you to that the curriculum clusterfuck, but it actually hurts my heart to be losing faith and trust in the one beacon we had in Alberta. I am so disappointed. I am Alberta strong. We are Alberta strong. Jason Kenney and his government are an Alberta disappointment and Alberta disaster. That from Alana. And making his Real Talk debut today, it's Merrick, the red-headed prick. He says, Drew Barnes yesterday, more of that same bullshit talking point about wishing the world was the same when oil was $100 a barrel. It's fucking infuriating. Everybody wants to make Alberta great again. Unfortunately, there's amnesia when they bitch and whine about pipelines taking too long or Alberta not being treated fairly by the rest of the planet. 9 years Stephen Harper had as Prime Minister with Conservatives running Alberta. Where are the interprovincial pipelines? Stuck in court. The Conservative way didn't work. Why didn't Harper reform the electoral system? Why is it the current government's fault that Harper and Kenny didn't author something different? Comparing tax rates to Canada and the U.S. as the reason for Alberta's decline is laughable at best. To Drew's constituents that believe his gaslighting of cherry-picked half-truths, I have plenty of bridges and property on the moon for sale with your names on them. Big hugs. Happy May long to all at Real Talk from Merrick, the red-headed prick. And a happy May long from all of us here on the team as well. We wish you safety. Play nice, play distant, and we'll see you back here live Tuesday morning, 8:30 Mountain Time. Until then, peace.